Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Storytellers. The storyteller tonight is me. I'm flying solo. It's the end, summertime gets a little crazy. Sometimes it's hard to get guests. People are on vacation. A lot of reasons. But it offers me the opportunity to talk directly to you sometimes about things that are on my mind, things I want to share and help with career advice and stuff for younger people coming up. Yesterday I did a show about positivity, about things that I love, and that went over really well. I think it was time for that kind of stuff and a little less negativity. Now, on the subject that we're talking about tonight, creative shelf life, on its surface, it sounds like it's a negative thing. But I'm here to tell you there's a positive side to this thing. So first, let me just say hello to a couple people in the chat here who have chimed in with us. AJ Tom is here. He says he's riding his bicycle and can't chat, but he's still here. Woot. All right. Stripling Vaughn is here. Statistical Zero. Hey, we were talking about you on Charlie's London show today. All good stuff, Stat. All good stuff. The Splintering is here. Hyper Kaiju is here. Zaid Comics is here. Pablo Osobieski, my favorite Irish Polish cop, and who, by the way, was the model for the Paul Jackson officer in the Chinook. So welcome, Paul. Ted Lehman is here. Brian Rubenacker is here. Hello. Alex Rogan's Ghost. Hello, hello. Eric the Guapo says, hey. Glad you're here, Eric. Yeah, sounds like we got a good crowd. What's the good word, Doc Graham, says Sheldon Martin. Cool. So let's start in, and we'll anybody else pops in, we'll say hello to them as well later on. So the first thing we have to look at is when we talk about creative shelf life. If you're a creative, whether it be artist, writer, cartoonist, musician, I think anybody, maybe outside of fine art, the aspect of creative shelf life applies to you. But let's first take a look at what the traditional career path is. So you insert your name here, but it goes like this. It's the 4 stages of a creative career. So for me, it's who's Graham Nolan? Get me Graham Nolan. Get me a Graham Nolan. Who's Graham Nolan? Unfortunately, that is the truth. And it hurts to say that, but why does that happen? Why is there a creative shelf life? Well, there's a few reasons. The main one is generational. A generation is usually defined by 20 years. And if you've had a career in any type of creative endeavor for 20 years, there's new people coming in. There's younger people coming in positions of power, whether they be editors or music executives, agents or directors in film. They're coming in and they're trying to establish themselves, and they're trying to get and expose people to new talent, new people. And that's all great. I mean, as it should be. The door should be open to allow new talent to flourish and be brought in. But it doesn't mean that you're ready for the scrap heap yet. But unfortunately, youth doesn't appreciate sometimes the older talent. Another factor is if you've been around for 20 years in a business like comics, and I'm primarily going to be speaking about my business here. So if you're a musician or an actor or whatever, you can just substitute the word comics for film or whatever, because most of this stuff really still applies. But if you've been around long enough, say 20 years in a career, and you started in your 20s, you're now in your 40s, maybe even in your 50s. And you've built up a solid rate, an expensive rate. And so that's another reason that you have a shelf life. You're expensive. The new editors and stuff can get young guys cheaper, and kind of attach their wagon to the new comet that's shooting through the sky. The other reasons, and these are more internal, more individual, and more in your control. It's your own inability to stay current with your style or technology. You have to compete with the people coming out of art schools and stuff that are being taught on the latest machines with the latest techniques, the latest programs, all that kind of stuff. You lack networking skills and relationship building, because a lot of this business is built on, and most businesses are built on who you know. And it's important to establish genuine relationships. They're not really there. They can be friendships, but you have to realize that the editor's job is to protect the properties and the company's needs, not yours. You can be friends with that person, but his loyalties are not to you; they're to his employer, and as it should be. So you need to do that. You need to stay on top as younger people are coming in. Introduce yourself. Take a trip and go to the offices of these places that you want to work, and meet these people, or meet them at conventions. Set up appointments to meet them, so you can establish relationships. That's really important. Another reason your shelf life comes due: health issues. Eyesight, particularly for artists, can be a big one. There's a lot of guys that had health issues, particularly their eyes, and their work changes. Things start looking wonky, and they become less desirable. Back issues. You're sitting on your ass all day, bent over a table drawing. Not good for your back. Arthritis. Your hands from drawing all the time, or musicians, repetitive motion, that type of thing. Loss of motivation. Now, that one is one that comes if you've been in a business as grueling as comics, that can really wear you down. If you're not a self motivator, And if you can't find those things that that gave you that love and that passion originally, if you can't call those up, you can get beat down and you lose motivation. You lose motivation, affects your work, bam, shelf life, you're due. Your time's up. Now, all of these reasons are based on the need or desire to work for someone else. Your shelf life is determined by others. But here's the good news. You are the talent. They may offer the jobs, but you have the talent. So, what can you do to prevent that shelf life tab from coming due? Because you are the talent, your audience is still there. You just got to go get them. You got to find them. So, first off, stay current. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't necessarily mean changing your style completely. In the 90s, Herb Trimpe, one of the great storytellers that worked for Marvel for many, many years, was having trouble finding work. And if you followed me on Facebook, every year on the anniversary of Herb's passing, I post his New York Times article that he wrote. He had kept track of, or he kept a diary, was the word I was looking for. He kept a diary of his trials and tribulations at Marvel at the time. Marvel was going through bankruptcy, and he wasn't getting work. He ended up having to teach. He went back to school, got his teaching degree, and taught school, but he was forced out of the business. It's a cautionary tale, and I publish that every year on the anniversary of his passing, as a reminder not to put your eggs in a corporate basket. He was a contract guy. He was a longtime Marvel guy, hired by Stan, and they treated him like crap. But before he was forced out, Herb saw what was happening with Image Comics. Image was the rage. It was the style du jour. And so he foolishly tried to do an Image style with his work. And it was just a disaster. It was insincere. You could tell he wasn't into it. He didn't quite understand what the Image style was. So it was sort of a mirror image, a funhouse mirror image of what it should have, what the guys at Image were producing at that time. Editors hated it, fans hated it, and it just hastened his demise in the business, and it was such a shame. So staying current doesn't necessarily mean copying some style du jour. It means looking and seeing what's popular and what you can glean from it. Don't fear technology. Older guys, they tend to get stuck in their ways, and they're unwilling to adapt to new and different ways of working. If you can be a wonderful artist, drawing storyboards on traditional board paper, but they don't work that way anymore. Those guys want that stuff digitally so that you can send images around the country. The director might be somewhere else, and you can send images, but more importantly, so that they can make changes, which sucks for you, but it's good for them, but it's necessary. So if you're going to work in storyboards, you have to be working digitally. So don't fear technology, embrace it. Consider it another tool, another arrow in your quiver, if you will. Develop other skill sets. Learning is key. If you're not good at Photoshop, there's plenty of tutorials. Learn it. If you've always had a hankering to write, learn about the process of writing and what it takes, how to do it. The more skills you have, the more value you'll have, not only to somebody else, but to yourself. Because we'll get to that later. But it's really important to keep your skill sets sharp and on point and current. Staying active physically and mentally, very important. One of the first reasons that I mentioned about your shelf life coming due is because of physical ailments. Now, some things you can't help, but keeping your body in motion and your brain agile is very, very important. When you sit at a desk all day long, it's the worst thing for your body. Your body is made to be in motion, Remember your physics class, kids. A body in motion stays in motion. So get up every 20 minutes, get moving, do something, get on an exercise program, read, have interests, and keep your mind and body sharp, because if they're not and you're tired, then you'll never be able to compete with young guys. It's as simple as that. It's good for your health, and it will increase your lifespan in the market. Don't be afraid to try new things or different approaches to old problems. The younger guys are going to solve things differently than you did. You might have a great way of doing it, but look at other ways around problems. Now, this is a big one. During your early years, during your productive years, the years you're earning money and you're not worrying about your shelf life, you're not worrying about your career, you're riding high, you're the hot shit right now. Save up money. This is what Humphrey Bogart used to call fuck you money. This is what will allow you freedom later on. Those two words are some of the most freeing words out there, because if you can say fuck you to a job, it means you can't be bought. It means you don't have to take something or do something you don't want to do just because you need the money. Very, very important. Save up while you can so that you have that ability and that freedom, because that's what money is. Money is freedom. It's the freedom to make choices. Save it and then use it when you need it. Be bold. Take risks. Publish your work, your own work. I know that it's easy to say be bold, but if you took my last comment to heart and saves up that money, your fuck you money, you've got that for a rainy day, so you can afford to be bold. The risk takers are the ones that get the big benefits. It's as simple as that. So take a risk. Set yourself up to be able to do it. Publish your own stuff. Own your own stuff. There's no shelf life for you if you're publishing your own work, because you've got all that other stuff going for you. Analyze the competition. What can you take away and apply to your approach? See who's doing what, and unlike what Herb did, try to copy something. Try to incorporate what's working for other people into your style and your approach. And then you'll create maybe something new that will become the new style, the new approach. You don't want to seem like you're a copycat hack, desperate, because that'll come through in the work. Be confident in what you do. If you had a long career, if you had a career of 20 years, you did something right. So don't throw all that away. take what's happening now, take the good stuff that's happening and apply it to you. And it'll work, believe me. Take control of your career. This goes back to publishing your own work too. But more than that, let people know that you're out there. You got to get on social media. You got to start a YouTube channel. Explore other options to cultivate your fans and audiences. Go on other people's channels and cross-pollinate. You know, you need to build that audience that you already had there for 20 years. You need to build on that and go out and get them. If you do all these things, then the shelf life is irrelevant to you because you've taken control of your own destiny. And that's the good news. If you don't have that motivation, you don't have that desire, and you just want to work for other people, well, that ship is going to come due. At some point, you're going to find yourself aged out. But if you do all these other things here that I talked about, you can have a long career beyond what other companies will let's say allow you to have. I'm on my 38th or 39th year in this business. So I'm ready to just about double my shelf life. And I'll tell you, some of these things that I'm telling you today were hard learned, but learn them I did. And so that's why I want to share them with you, because too many great talents have been lost because they didn't know how to navigate these waters. So that's what I want to impart to you guys. All righty. Let's see what we got here in the chat. If anybody's got any questions. Stat 0, ageism is a beast for comic crows. Yeah, it is. Ageism exists out there. Charlie Lee says hello from Sacramento, California. Stat says, again, I wish some of these past legends could have been crowdfunding. They would have ran the tables. Well, yes and no, because as we know that you don't always bring over your popularity, if you will, or fan base if you've worked in corporate comics, because crowdfunding is a different animal. You have to appeal to your backers, to your audience directly. And if some of those older guys didn't embrace the technology as we talked about, they might not have done so well. And that goes true for a lot of guys today. You're gonna see more and more people jumping ship off the sinking Titanic, Marvel and DC, and trying to get into this stuff, and they're just going to throw their projects up and they're going to die on the vine because they don't know how to work that new paradigm. At least that's my prediction. Well, Charlie Lee, what if you like the 70s and 60s style of comics for my art style? Well, then you're narrowing your audience. If you can find 1,000 or 2,000 people that like that stuff and that will support that stuff, then more power to you. I think you can take aspects of 60s and 70s art and modernize it, and appeal to, newer audiences as well. But if that's your thing, then you're going to be limiting your chances. Past Master Dan reminding me to tell everybody, hit the like. Yes. I always forget to do that when I'm on these shows. I just figure, well, they're here. They're going to hit the like button. No. So Dan is my taskmaster who's telling me to tell you, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, please. And back Alien Alamo, if you haven't done that. You got a lot to do tonight. I'm sending you away with homework. I've given you great information here, but I'm sending you home with homework. Learn to change your own tire. It will save you money. Well, that's true. That's true. My dad taught me how to do that when I was a kid and first got my license, and it's come in handy many a times. This is the kind of video we need far more of, something that will still ring true next week, not more comic gossip that is irrelevant in 2 days. Well, there is a lot of that. Some person says you can learn several styles. You can. I work in many styles. I have a cartooning style. I have an illustrative style. My Alien Alamo is sort of an animated style. I change my style to match the story that I'm trying to tell and how it will marry up together. But if you're going to do that, if you're going to learn different styles, you got to be good at them. Otherwise, master one. Boob Dan Art says, smash that like button, friends. Thank you. Thank you. So keep the exercise equipment next to the art table. Well, here's a tip. We often get engrossed in our work and our heads are down. Before you know it, we've got 3-4 hours at the board without even thinking. Keep a gallon jug of water next to your drawing table. Drink it. A, it'll keep you hydrated. But B, every 20 minutes, you'll have to get up and pee. So it forces you to get up. And you can do some push-ups or something like that, then go to the bathroom, then come back down. It forces you to break it up and to get up. FU money is nice money. Yes, it is. It's freedom, as I said. Past Master Dan says, Dad always said your money should work as hard for you as you did for it. Good investment. Nicholas Gear says, hey, everyone. Sheldon Martin says, I don't really have FU money, but I got an F me job. That's a good one. Stick to your principles. Indeed. Hey, Leg Kick 1, glad you're here. Rancid Potato is here too. Good, good. Hyperkaiju says, listen to Graham drop knowledge bombs while I bag and board some old comics. Oh man, I'll bet you those smell good. I love the smell of old comics. I should have put that in my things I love yesterday. I love the smell of old comics. Hello, Daniel Russell. You don't look a day over 36. Well, thank you. I will be 60 in March. It's a good one like this next time. Like Gabby Hayes. Hey, Paul, good words, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Officer Paul. Who wants to be the hot new thing? Every young guy coming up. That's who. William Pace, who taught you the most in storytelling? Probably Joe Kubert. When I was at Joe's school, is where I got a master class on storytelling. Um, I mean, personally from Joe. Uh, but other people whose storytelling I've studied, deconstructed, and learned from are Jack Kirby, John Buscema, Roy Crane. Uh, those are some of my favorite visual storytellers for various reasons. Each one has various storytelling aspects that I have tried to incorporate into my own style without ever copying them. You know, that's the thing I was getting at before, is that you can absorb these various things and then still make it your own. Do you turn to any comics to generate ideas or movies? Um, yeah, yeah. I'll look at anything for an idea. You know, I'll take stuff from shitty movies and incorporate it. Like, what, you know what? It's a crappy movie, but that's a good idea, and then I'll steal it. Uh, One of the things that I shamelessly stole was a death trap for Batman and Robin that we used in Detective Comics 700. Uh, Batman and Robin were stuck in a cistern, and the water was, and there was like a concrete top put over it so that the water is rising up. And, you know, Batman and Robin, you know, are swimming in there. Eventually, the water will rise up to the very top of that cistern, and there's a hole there so that the air going out can go out, and then the water will just come up to the top, and it'll be completely submerged. And so Batman takes off his tunic and plugs that air hole up, increasing the air pressure, and the air pressure forces the concrete thing off. Stole that from a Lone Ranger radio program that I had heard one day, and I made a note of. I'm like, oh, that's a great death trap. You know, Chuck and I could use that for Batman and Robin. So you never know where your ideas are going to come from. You know, when I'm looking for some type of inspiration, I like to read um, Jack Kirby's 70s books, things like The Demon, Command-E, Devil Dinosaur. Is it Jack's best stuff? No, but it's raw. You can see the thinking process in that stuff. You can see the excitement, you know. It's big concept stuff, which is all I really need. You know, I get the ideas for big concepts, and then you refine those ideas. Um, but I always find reading that stuff to be very motivating for me. It gets my creative juices going. Like, look what Jack did here. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of, and yet he made it work. You know, and here I am 40 years later, still looking at it. You know, so it just goes to show you the power of the idea. Stippling Vaughn says, thankfully, YouTube is letting us connect with artists. We, the fans, make artists being pushed to pasture feel relevant and still wanted. Uh, it's sort of a backhanded thing. uh, yeah, it's up to the artist to be relevant, uh, to connect to the fans. You know, the onus is on him. Swear words are the best lubricant for working in cars. Yes, for working on cars. Yeah. Dan Russell says, you are a master storyteller. Well, thank you, Daniel. I do appreciate that. Why do you, I think you're the same guy that keeps calling Billy a traitor. You want to elaborate on that? Is this an inside joke that I'm not aware of, or did he piss you off in some way? Graham Nolan, is digital platform like Webtoons worth a try? Digital platform, yes, it's worth a try. But being on somebody else's platform, I don't know how that's going to pay off. My comic strip, Sunshine State, is on Go Comics, which is one of the biggest syndicators of newspaper comics there is, and they got a huge subscription list for their online comic strips. And so Sunshine State is on there, but it doesn't pay out any money. I get $100 a quarter, so that's 3 months. $100 for 3 months for a weekly strip. I think it comes out to like $5 a strip. That I spend every Saturday working on. Every Saturday morning, I start it, I write it, I illustrate it up until around lunchtime, and then if it's not done, I finish it on Sunday. That's my weekends, and then anything else I'm gonna do, mow the lawn or whatever, gets done. But Saturdays, I work on that strip. I do it because I love it. I wish there was a better way to monetize it, and I'm working on some ideas for that because I really love doing that strip. But so to answer your question, I just don't know that you can make a living doing that. But if you create your own destination place and you build an audience for it to come to you, and you set your subscription prices or whatever it is, then yes, sky's the limit. You could definitely make that work. Are writers immune from this creative shelf life? No, they are not. Certainly not comic writers. If you're a novelist, then yeah, you probably are, but not in the visual medium of comics. Writers are just as susceptible to that as any other creative. Tom Bowles Drawing Board asks, do you think that artists may try to have too many projects on the board instead of concentrating on just one? I don't know that I don't know too many guys that can that could do more than one project at a time. The Jack Kirby's, the John Buscema's are long gone. Some of these guys can barely do a monthly, so I don't know if that's an issue. Telepathic Bunny says, I see a lot of writers working multiple decades. Yeah, there's artists who work multiple decades too. They somehow avoid it, but for most, and as I said, for novelists, it's really not too much of an issue. But for comic writers, they're not working on top tier books either, too, by that point. Aaron Lepresti says, give us more wisdom. I'm going to give you some wisdom. Tomorrow night, instead of the usual professionals, which was going to be on Aaron's channel, at 8 o'clock, we're all going to be on Ethan's channel to welcome Aaron into crowdfunding. He's going to be launching Wraith of God, his first crowdfunded project, launches tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So I hope all you guys will tune in and support Aaron, and because all the bros will be there. It'll be did I say it's on Ethan's channel? If I didn't, it is. So tune in for that. Boob Dan Art. I used to work making video games for a living, and they would tell us to be sure to take a walk every couple hours. As back in the day, lots of people were getting circulation issues for sitting too long. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. Yep. It shortens your hip flexors too. Marty is here. Hi, Marty. Forget about age. Creativity is ageless. Yes, creativity is ageless. Being able to sell your creativity, that's where we got into our discussion. Mark wants to know, what is your next convention? I have no conventions coming up because I am too busy working on Alien Alamo, and I've set a deadline for that or a fulfillment date of December. So I've got plenty more work ahead of me to do, and I need to, honor that for my backers and not go gallivanting around to conventions. Well, congratulations, Sheldon Martin, who dated the hot new thing back in college once. Nice. Charlie Lee wants to know, what light source do you use that's not a strain on your eyes when drawing? Well, it's all a strain. I work digitally on my iPad, so it's backlit. Technically, I can work in the dark, I guess, but it's still backlit. And after 8 or so hours, the eyes start to take it. I'd mentioned in yesterday's stream, one of the things I love is reading. I love to read books, but I rarely get a chance to read them because by the end of the day, my eyes are just wiped out. So I'll sit up there and my head will bob after a paragraph. So most of my reading, as I mentioned yesterday, gets done on vacation, or if I got time in the morning when I'm fresh, because the eyes are just they're just wiped out from all that concentration and focus. You can make a big ugly cop look tough and handsome. Well, I made him look tough. Darth Josh, he can't wait for Alien Alamo. He's backer number 1079. Awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your support. Any of you guys out there who have not backed Alien Alamo, please go to it on Indiegogo. And if one of you guys wouldn't mind just throwing that into the comments here, throwing that link in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Michael Wong says, my homage to Jack Kirby and Joe Kubert is both inspiring and awesome. Well, that's because they are inspiring and awesome. The cool thing about this art form is that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and they never got recognition. There was no rock star money or anything for these guys. They did it because they loved it, and they did great work. And I'll make sure people never forget them. AJ Tom is still on his bike, I guess. Not often that I can ride my mountain bike and get an education at the same time. Thank you, Graham. God bless. God bless you, Tom, and or AJ. And thank you for listening as you ride your bike. People are mad at Kickstarter again. Yeah, well, they hired a woman who's like the liaison for comics, and she's blocked all comic skaters. And I'm assuming anybody that is conservative, but certainly comic skaters have all been blocked by her. Nice. Great hire. Well done, corporate. Well done. Then you wonder why we use Indiegogo. They're capitalists. They want to make money. We want to make money. The SJWs, boy, oh boy. Billy came over from Kickstarter. Indiegogo was his first priority, but he didn't abandon the Kickstarter backers, some of whom probably aren't aware of what is going on. He put fans first, all of them. Yeah, is that in reference to that guy calling Billy a traitor? Because he never did chime in and explain that. But yeah, Billy's a capitalist too. You know, he's made good money on both platforms. And there's no better revenge than taking money from your enemy. So if Kickstarter is going to set themselves up as an enemy to Comicsgate, and you can take money out of their pockets, go for it. Hero Heroinberg, Heroinberg. Not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but at any rate, you enjoyed the Chenoo. Why not apologize? Why not? Why not apologize? Why not anthologize the Sunshine State Strip in a nice book, the way Frank Cho did with Liberty Meadows? I've thought about that, um, and I think I've got a bunch of other things on my docket that I want to do first. And I think it's important to get those done first because uh, they will be to a wider audience, I think. Um, and then eventually, you know, uh, revisit that and do it. And then maybe I'll make like a little plushie of Mel and Dink. I'd like to do that too. Have you ever did any work for Playboy? There was big money in it. I don't know if it's still like that. Well, Playboy magazine, when they first came out, was the place for cartoonists to go. In fact, Hugh Hefner was a cartoonist or wanted to be a cartoonist. Um, one of the guys, original cartoonist for Mad Magazine. Could anything be further from Playboy than Mad Magazine? Uh, for Playboy magazine was Jack Cole, the creator of Plastic Man. And Jack Cole's Playboy cartoons are absolutely works of art. I don't even think they use cartoons anymore, but I don't know. I don't Do they even publish Playboy anymore? I don't know that either. Yes, I am blocked by her. I have come to the party. Yeah. Billy's a great guy. He's no traitor. He served his country, and he's doing what's right for his company and his business. And we love him, and more power to him. I got some congrats for Aaron. If you're still watching, Aaron, I know these guys are going to back that book because it looks awesome. Let's hope Ethan doesn't fall into a pie coma at 7:30. It has happened. Yeah, I guess so. That's what I suspected because a bunch of us were talking about it. But yeah, well, Stat Zero would take a collection of Sunshine State. Awesome. Just introduced a new character a few weeks ago, Hoover, the gopher tortoise. I've been having fun with him. Anybody can post a link in there, I think. Oh, yeah, the Bill Sienkiewicz interview. He had to cancel. His handler said that he got some deadline issues. Something else had come in, so we're gonna have to reschedule that um, at his convenience. He's a busy guy. Here's an interesting question, Graham. Do you have a favorite artist outside of comics that you try to incorporate into your work? Hmm. Um, Well, let me put on two different hats. As a writer, I try to incorporate things that I've learned from Hemingway and from Elmore Leonard into my work. Uh, those two guys I respect really. Well, I respect them a lot, and I like their style and how they approach, mm, particularly dialogue for Elmore Leonard. For artists, um, there's nobody that pops into my head right off the bat that I could say. It'll probably come to me later on. Somebody that I've obviously forgotten. Uh, I think Norman Rockwell probably. His composition of a painting is very much how you would compose a panel. He tells a story with a single painting that would be a scene in a panel. So possibly him. Could try to post the link. Hope I'm not breaking the rules. Nah, do it. What cigar helps with putting ideas on the iPad? A lit one. Yeah, I guess only mods can post links. Okay. Well, we can easily fix that. I did not realize that was a thing. Okay, so I have posted the link. Did I do any studies on Disney's 9 Old Men? I mean, I know about them and I've read about them. Haven't studied their work though. Antonio Rishilo. Hey Graham, got here late. Not sure if you mentioned it already, but I was wondering when Two-Fisted Tales will be launching. I haven't talked about it yet, Antonio, but giant size Two-Fisted Manly Tales will be the sign up sheet will be going out in September. And then depending on all the stories are written. So now it's just the artists are working on them. I'd like to get all the artwork in by December and launch in December so that all the artwork is in, because eventually, I want to have, if it doesn't fund well, we'll have the complete book done, and that'll be great. But I suspect this thing is going to be killer. And so for stretch goals, I want to add new stories for each stretch goal to make this thing 100 pages of knuckle busting action. So we'll have half the book done when it launches. So September is when the sign up sheet will go out, and then December is my my target date to launch it. If not December, then January, because I'll be busy in December too with the fulfillment of Alien Alamo. AJ Tom wants to know, is Kickstarter allowed to block a cartoonist with prejudice in this manner? There's got to be a lawyer in the chat. Well, they're not blocking them from Kickstarter, which is what her job is. She's just blocking them as a personal, as an individual on a platform from her own feed. So I don't know that there's an issue there. But if we start finding out that, they're canceling CG books, if there are any, uh, on Kickstarter, then that might be an issue. Oh, Scott says the Monte Cristo #2 is the cigar for working on the iPad. Well, you can't go wrong with a good Monte Cristo, can we, Scott? If you ever get up here, I'll take you over to my cigar club. We got a guy from Cuba that hand rolls cigars in the cigar club, and they're wonderful. Will there be a How to Draw Comics the Graham Nolan Way? Are you related to Kevin Nolan? No, Kevin spells his name differently. There's a W in his. He spells it the wrong way. I've told him that. But no, I don't think there'll be a How to Draw Comics the Graham Nolan Way. I don't have the patience for that kind of stuff. I'd rather talk about the process and all that, but to sit down and do it sounds like a chore to me. Leg kick one is allaying my fears about giant-sized two-fisted manly tales. Maybe the subtitle, because this title's not long enough, should be The Celebration of Toxic Masculinity. Sheldon Martin, I've been circling this project for a while. Finally got the funds to back the highlighted tier. Oh, are we talking about... oh, well, I did just get a new contribution. Let's see. It is Sheldon, and he got the Monster Comic 3-pack. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. You will not be sorry. And so I do updates every Monday for my backers. So if you don't get an update on Monday, check your spam or junk folder, and put the setting to allow that, so you can be up to date. I share artwork with the backers before I post it anywhere else, so you get to see the stuff first. So welcome aboard, sir. Good to have you. Daniel says the YouTube masterclass for How to the Graham Way. Thank you, Frankie. Enjoyed the Howard Chaykin episode. Yeah, Howard, I think, was my second guest. I think Chuck Dixon was my first guest. But yeah, I had a ball with Howard. He's a hoot. Very knowledgeable. Really, really bright guy. Very knowledgeable about comics and culture and all that. And he's a fun guy to hang out with. We couldn't be more opposite politically, but that doesn't get in the way of some fun and interesting conversations between the two of us. That's the thing. You can have disagreements with people. As long as you walk away with mutual respect, then I don't see a problem. It's when, particularly the left gets a little too vehement and starts, attacking you and canceling you and all that nonsense. Then I have no place for you. I might have to use this somewhere. I'm more regular than probiotic yogurt with my updates. Nobody better. Well, thank you, AJ Tom. I appreciate that. That's pretty funny. I love you guys in the chat. You're as creative as anybody out there. It's fantastic. All right, my friends. I think I've covered everybody in here. I always like to engage with all you guys, and I always thank you for coming in on the show. As I mentioned, the professionals will now be on Aaron's channel tomorrow because we're all going to be there to support our bro, Aaron Lepresti, as he launches his his first campaign, Wraith of God. It's a horror action Western. Not sure it's superhero, but it might be. But it looks amazing. I mean, he's drawing it, so you know it's going to be amazing. What's this? Ethan's channel. Yeah, what did I say? Did I not say Ethan? Yeah, it'll be on, the bros will be on Ethan's channel tomorrow to help launch Aaron's project. If I confused you guys, I'm sorry. But yeah, it'll be Ethan's channel at 8 o'clock, our usual bro time. Are you going to draw on a live stream, Graham, or do you like having yourself completely focused? Dan Fraga showed me how to hook up my iPad to the computer and share the screen. So actually, I was thinking of doing like a drawing stream, maybe working on a inking a Alien Alamo page, something like that. Going for like half an hour while I'm working on it. And I'm talking to you guys and all that kind of stuff, and the screen will be of all the drawing that's happening, because it just mirrors it. So you'd be seeing it. You wouldn't be seeing me. You'd just be seeing the stuff happening on the page, which would be kind of cool. So, all right, my friends. So that is the plan for tomorrow. Please tune into Ethan's channel and support Aaron. And I guess I'll see you guys back here next Wednesday. I don't know I don't have anybody lined up just yet, but you'll be the first to know when I do. So have a great evening, gang, and we'll see you down the road. Bye-bye.